How many of you want to 10x your business and go to the next level in 2025? How many of you want to stop being so serious when it comes to business and start enjoying business more? Find a lighter side to business. How many of you want to access your creative genius and come up with breakthrough ideas on demand? If the answer to any of these questions are yes, this is what we're going to be discussing today, Angel Doves. It is divine to see you on a Saturday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Claudine Ullman. I am a creativity coach and professional comedian. And I have, for the last 14 years, been working with comedians and celebrities and big global conglomerates to help them access their creative genius using comedy techniques. And I want to talk to you today about how you can up level, upskill, go to the next iteration of your business, of yourself, using comedy techniques. So, hello, Danny. So the reason why comedy is the most effective tool when it comes to up leveling, upscaling, taking your business to the next level is because of what happens to the brain when we improvise. So Charles Lim is a professor who did the most fantastic exercise, experiment. He took a bunch of jazz musicians while they were improvising and put them in MRI machines, and he saw what happened to the brain while we improvise. And what he found was astonishing, because the part of the brain that lights up, really starts to activate when we're improvising, is the prefrontal cortex. It is the monkey part of the brain. It's the elephant part of the brain. It is the subconscious mind. We really get access to the subconscious. We get access to the part of the brain that is responsible for creative flow, for prayer, for meditation, for play. And the part of the brain that shuts down, goes cold, switches off is the self-sabotage center that says, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I'm not worthy. Self-sabotage. Now, I found out today, actually, I was just doing my astrological chart. So for those of you who are into astrology, I found out that I'm a Scorpio rising. And the reason why I say this is because I am a Scorpio rising and I'm a Virgo, which is like perfectionist over perfectionist. And when I think back on my comedy career and when I think back on my career as a coach, I am like geared towards wanting things to be perfect before I start them. And improv comedy has been the most effective tool for me to be able to get over that need to be perfect and just start and just do the thing and just throw myself in. So I am literally hardwired to be analytical, to use my logical brain, to operate from the part of the brain that says, stop, don't do this now, you're unsafe, and this was so interesting to me because even though I'm hardwired to be like this, to be a perfectionist, to always want to be perfect before I put anything out into the world, I have chosen a career path and I have connected on a soul level with improv comedy. And I think it's because it allows me to do the exact opposite. It allows me to get over my need of perfectionism before I start something. It allows me to be brave and take massive risks for massive rewards. And it's actually allowed me to pursue my career and pursue several careers, whether it's, me being a stand-up comedian or a coach or a beauty queen or a performance director, You know, I've had so many different facets to my career, and I really attest it to improv comedy, because for those of you who don't know what improv comedy is the brain's ability to create comedy on the spot. It's spontaneous thinking. It is the brain's ability to fall deeply in love with and embrace failure. So take massive risks and expect massive rewards. And I think this ability to learn comedy and become masterful in improv comedy has allowed me to get over my need for perfectionism, even though that is my hardwiring. So, if you are starting a business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a founder, if you are a Scorpio rising, and your moon and sun are in Virgo, which means you are geared towards perfectionism, like me, uh, then I would suggest learning improv comedy, because it really gives you the tools you need to get over overthinking, to stop procrastinating, to stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you dive in fully, before you go all in, before you bet on yourself. I'm hugely analytical. I love using, my logical brain before I make decisions. I've got to overthink everything. And as I say, my career and my ability um, to improvise is actually what has helped me um, overcome my perfectionism. So this is brilliant. Bronwyn says, even the words improv comedy gives me anxiety, Claude. And I totally understand that. I totally get it. Because often our area of breakdown, our area of fear, is the area we need to focus on the most in order to have a breakthrough. We need to break down to break through. So if something is truly terrifying for us, that is the area we need to go all in on. That is the area where we need to really dive deep. And that's the area where we will experience the most amount of growth. If you're feeling like you are lacking in your business or lacking in your life, it is because that area in which you are fearful is the area that you are avoiding. Stephen Pressfield, who wrote the War of Art, has the most fantastic quote about, I actually want to look it up, about like the ratio or the amount of fear that you have for this, for something. So Bronwyn, the amount of fear that you have towards improv comedy, that is equal to, and that is how much you need to invest in terms of breaking through that resistance. So when it comes to truly expressing who you are and truly eliminating the blocks that are holding you back, go to what is fearing you the most, dive all in there, and you will become unstoppable. And I learned that lesson through beauty queening, actually. If I think of my year, entering Mrs. South Africa and becoming a beauty queen, possibly my biggest fear, the thing that gave me biggest anxiety, was walking a runway in a swimming costume. And if you watch the finals of Mrs. South Africa, I am not only walking a runway, I am strutting my stuff. I am living the dream on that stage, and nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. I have become unstoppable when I think of the stuff that I've achieved that was my biggest fear. So Bronwyn says, but what if I die? You are going to die. your body is going to die. You are going to die. You might as well live in the process. And you cannot live fully and freely and abundantly without getting through your fears and facing them face on. Because once you do that thing, you will become unstoppable and you will be able to live to the fullest. So, what if I die? Absolutely, you're going to die. You're going to die, but that's part of the process. And, in stand up comedy, they call dying, they call, when you don't get laughs on stage, they call it dying. And the reason they call it dying is because it feels like death. It is the most terrible feeling to be on stage, vulnerable, you know, pouring your heart out and not have anybody laugh. But what starts to happen when you start to die often and die when you are most vulnerable is you start to embrace the death. You start to learn that the death is not actually connected to who you are as a human, but the death is a part of you that was so concerned about what other people think of you, or a part of you that was so concerned about not getting the laughs. That is the part of you that are dying, that is dying. Wow, that's powerful. And if you can let yourself die, if you can let the part of you die that wants the approval, the part of you die that wants to overthink things, the part of you die that is longing for perfectionism, there is nothing in business and in life that you cannot achieve. So, in order to live fully, we need to be prepared to die because we are going to die. And we might as well have lived, you know, and done every experience we can before we actually die. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the concept of a masogi. So a masogi is a Japanese concept, which is basically it's like a year long, and it doesn't have to be a year. It could be a lifelong, but a year defining quest, something that you set out to do, which is going to change your life so dramatically that you will know that that year that will change your life so dramatically that it actually changed the trajectory of your life. So you can pinpoint that year because of your misogi. So, for example, 2019 I walked on hot coals. 2020, no, 2019 I 2018 I walked on hot coals. 2019 I wrote and toured my one woman show around the world. 2020 COVID. um 2021 I had a baby. Okay, so COVID I wasn't doing much. What did I do? I probably pivoted. I went online in 2020, which changed the trajectory of my career, I guess. 2021 I had a baby. 2022 I entered a beauty contest. 2023 I immigrated, and 2024 I voted Labour. Okay, so you need to know. Yes, 2020, I did drunken origami. I thank God for Bronwyn who was watching that. That was one of my, and actually, I started a podcast in 2020. I did a lot of things during lockdown. I really did, you know, but there have been so many facets to my career. I have done so many cool things in the face of fear, in the face of dying, that I wouldn't take any of those things back. And I often joke that, sometimes I wish that the SABC would burn down because I'm so embarrassed about like the stuff that my early television stuff and the stuff that I did um, on television before I felt like I was ready. And the great thing about failing publicly, failing often, dying 1,000 deaths is it is preparation for the big opportunity. It is preparation for the big thing that you are doing. It has taught me resilience. Wow. If I can walk on hot coals and I can strut on a runway with my labia hanging out on SABC, I can bloody do anything. I can do anything. So now, when it comes to setting up my own business and going global and having, my own dreams, goals, and desires around going to the next level, I I have no fear. There's excitement. There's actually a longing. What is next? I cannot wait for what is next to come. What should I do? I've done the beauty queening thing. I am still a stand-up comedian. I still get to perform improv. I love television. I love performance directing. And why can I not do it all? And why can I not have a hugely successful business? Abundance is my birthright. And you know how I learned that? I learned that from breaking down. I needed to break down in order to break through. The Scorpio rising in me, the Virgo in me that wanted everything to be perfect, I needed to learn a technique, a tool, a framework, a system to go against my makeup, which was perfectionism. Go against my makeup and do whatever it took to live the life of my dreams. To die often, die big, fail, learn to embrace failure, and come back greater than ever. I truly believe that the rest of my life is the best of my life, and that every single failure that I have encountered or gone through or experienced has gotten me to where I've gotten now. And I'm pretty sure that if you ask yourself the same thing, you would not take one of those failures back. No matter how hard and heavy and grief-stricken you were from the death that you experienced, because that part of you needed to die in order to become the person you are today. Do we have to break down on stage though? Oh my goodness. So this is such a great question. Yes. Yes, we need to break down on stage. And the reason why we need to break down on stage is because if failing in front of others and concern about what other people think of us is the biggest fear we have, that is where you will experience the biggest breakthrough. So absolutely, yes, you need to break down on stage. You need to break down in front of other people. And you will, I mean, if I think of like just even going live and speaking, every failure is a lesson. Absolutely. Absolutely. And not only is every failure a lesson, every failure is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to reinvent, to learn, to grow. Growth. What do they say? Like growth is like a garden. Growth is like a garden where I don't know. They say something like it's a beautiful quote. It's something like growth is like a garden, and beautiful things grow. I don't know. I've got to find the quote. It's irritating me that I can't find it. But yes. Oh my goodness. I love this. Bronwyn says, I can't even go to confession as a Catholic because one person will see me at my most vulnerable. And I totally can relate. And it's not, for me, I'm not Catholic. I'm Jewish, but so I don't necessarily have confession. But if you think of the person you are in front of your husband, in front of your children, in front of your parents, in front of your family, That is the most vulnerable, authentic, uh, genius version of you. And that is the genius version that needs to show up in her business, that needs to show up on social media, and that needs to show up for the world. Because let me tell you something, once you can access who she is, first of all, and once you are able to show her to the world, you will truly become unstoppable. You will truly become unstoppable. And what you see is, instead of, you're concerned about judgment of others, but what will drown the judgment of others out is actually the DMs in your inbox, the emails, the messages, the phone calls to say, thank you for being vulnerable. Without your story or without your vulnerability, I couldn't have done this thing. I couldn't have had this breakthrough. If I didn't see you break down, I couldn't have broken through in this way. So the fact that you know what your most vulnerable area in life is and where you feel the most vulnerable, that is where you need to focus on the most. You need to focus on eliminating that fear first. You know, they call it, you know, in professional development circles, they call it slaying your dragons. You need to slay your biggest dragons. You know, don't just be swatting away the flies. That's easy. Slay your dragons. Wake up every morning and say, this is the most uncomfortable thing I have to deal with, so I'm dealing with it now. And if you cannot be prepared to be uncomfortable, be prepared to sit in the awkward, be prepared to sit in what makes you vulnerable, there is always going to feel like there is a lack, whether it is in business or life or whatever. You know, the beautiful thing about doing improv comedy and performance and failing in front of other people has been the ability, or my ability, to sit in the awkward. Because now there's not much you can throw at me that will completely throw me off, because I've been there. I've been in the arena. I've been in the awkward. I've had people not laugh at me. I've died on stage. I've died on television, national television. SABC burned down. Okay? That stuff is on the internet forever. Wow. Okay? So, uh, absolutely. Absolutely. Courage over comfort. I'm actually out, you know, my first book that I'm writing, and I don't know if it's going to be my first book because I have so many books sitting inside of me, but my first book that I have started brainstorming around and playing with has been confidence, like the word confidence. I may have to change the title because it's a little bit confusing, but it's all about the power of moving out of your comfort zone into a new confidence, developing a new type of confidence to become the person you dream of being. I know this is hard. I know this I don't want to say this is hard. I know this feels hard. I know this feels difficult. I know this feels awkward. But if you have the tools, the technique, the framework, the system to sit in the awkward, sit in the pain, sit in the grief, sit in the, and come out the other side. Ooh, ooh, nothing will hold you back. You want to take your business, if you are earning R1 million a year, if you are earning $1 million, £1 million, and you want to start earning $10 million, £10 million, 10 million rand, you have to do this thing, and you got to do this thing every day. You got to feel uncomfortable every day. For me, social media, and you'll see I am not consistent. There's a line, and this is actually a great exercise to do. There's a line. I would do anything for my business Or I would do anything to expand my business except blank. Fill that thing in. Okay? For me, it is social media, which sounds counterintuitive because actually, if you look at my reels and you look at my posts and you look at my social media, it's I'm often inspired, and I do, I love to do sketch is one of my favorite things to do. But to edit, to post, to share a story, to get eyes to see it, to go live every single day, it's too much for me. I don't like the consistency. And what have I realized? That is the thing I need to do. That is my blank. I would do anything for my business. I would do anything for the expansion of my business except go live every single day. And you know what I'm doing? I'm going live every single day. I'm becoming more consistent. I'm showing up. I'm showing up for myself because I know that if I want to take my business, I want to take my company from a £2 million company to a £20 million company to a £20 million company, a £200 million company to a £2 billion company. That sounds bloody great. I need to show up every day, and I need to show up in the awkward, and I need to show up in the uncomfortable, and I have to do it no matter what. I have to do it no matter what. So if you are on this call and you are feeling like, I would do anything but this thing, that is the thing you need to do, and you are more than welcome. I have a Facebook group from Block to Brilliant. To join me on that Block to Brilliant group, and we can share, we can hold each other accountable. We can share this blank, this thing that we are doing, even though it is where our biggest fear is, even though it is our biggest area that we need to work on. You know, have an accountability group where you are telling people, look, the last thing I feel like doing is putting on makeup and sitting in front of the camera and going live today, but I am showing up. I am showing up because I know that if I want to take my business, my life, myself to the next level, I need to be vulnerable, and I've got to show people who I am, because you know what that's going to do? That's going to say, Claudine, because of your vulnerability, because you broke down in front of me, I had this breakthrough, and I want to work with you. You know, I was just updating my LinkedIn profile cover photo, and I was looking at all the companies that I had worked with. And I started feeling so proud, of what I was able to accomplish. Because the Claudine of 10 years ago never would have thought it was possible. Never would have thought it was possible, but I kept showing up. And because I kept showing up, people kept talking. Oh, you've got to work with Claudine. You've got to do this thing with Claudine. I have never run a corporate ad for Jittery Citizens ever that I have paid for. I've been on billboards. Those billboards have come to me. I've always had I've won free billboards. I've had billboard companies go, we love what you do, come be on a billboard. You'll see the list of corporates that I've worked with, and that is not through one paid advert. I've done paid adverts for Jittery shows. I've done paid adverts for my personal shows. I've never done a paid advert for a corporate, and look at my list of corporates. And I do not say that to impress you. I say that to impress upon you. What happens when you go all in? When you go all in and you face your biggest fear head on. Yes, no one can sit in your uncomfortable, then no one can sit in your uncomfortable more than you. And that is scary. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? What I am learning is that life is scary, terrifying, and overwhelming, and beautiful, and gorgeous, and liberating, and exciting, and wonderful and uplifting and a gift. And you can choose where to focus that energy. You can choose where to focus those thoughts. You can choose to ignite your future vision and focus on the why so strongly, the why you want to get to that future vision so strongly that it will be a no-brainer that you need to be scary, or you need to be able to be scared, or you need to be able to go through the scary thing. I want to do an exercise with whoever is watching. So for whoever is watching, or whoever is going to watch the replay, I want you to take a piece of paper. Okay, take a piece of paper and a pen. And what I want you to do, Sanele, thank you, my darling. Such a good conversation. I'm having a great time speaking to you also, babes. So what I want you to do is on your piece of paper, I want you to write down where you are now. Okay? Where you are now. Okay? Where am I now? And I want you to write down in detail. My business is, I am earning 500,000 Rand a month. 500,000 Rand. Well, 500,000 Rand a month. I want to be earning 500,000 Rand a week. Whatever. I want to take my business to the next level. So where are you now? I am feeling this way about my relationships. I'm feeling this way about my finances. I'm feeling this way about my health. Okay? So if you imagine that you can split it up into health, wealth, and relationships. Health, wealth, relationships. Okay. Health, wealth, and relationships. Okay? So, health, wealth, and relationships. And I want you to just write down, where are you now? Don't overthink it. Write the first thing that comes to mind. Don't think twice about it. Where are you now? You can even rate yourself out of 10. So give yourself a number. In health, I am 6 out of 10. In wealth, I am 9 out of 10. And in relationships, I am 9 out of 10 as well. Okay? The first number that comes to mind is usually correct. Go with the first thought. Go with the top of intelligence, okay? And I want you to write down, where are you now? I then want you to write down, where are you going, baby? Where are you going? Sorry, this is really rudimentary, but we are going through this together. So I want you to write down, where are you going? In your health, in your wealth, in your relationships. What is the big vision? What is the big goal? What is the big dream? What is the big desire that is going to take you to the next level? Write it out. Write it out using as many of the senses as possible. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you think? Write it out. Where are you going? Once you have written down in health, wealth, relationships, where you are going, I want you to write down your why. Why do you want to get? Why is it so important to get from there to there? Why is it so important to get from where you are now in health, wealth, and relationships to where you want to be in health, wealth, and relationships in terms of igniting your future vision? Why? And if you can focus on that why, it doesn't matter how scary the thing is, you will be willing to dig through those trenches to get there. You will do whatever it takes because your why is so strong to move from the pain, from the hell that you are in now, to the heaven where you deserve to be. Now, you may say, oh, Claudine, but my life isn't really hell. I'm happy. And if you're happy with where you are, great. Great. But being content with where you are, do not let that be an excuse to stop you from being greater, from living the life of your dreams. Okay? And for those of you who don't know, I immigrated to the UK, and I actually, I'd spent 14 years teaching comedy techniques uh, to individuals and to corporates to help them up level their lives and help them up level their businesses. And I got a qualification as a life coach because I was just like, what I am doing by teaching people these comedy techniques is life coaching. I'm I'm helping people improve their lives, take their lives to the next level using comedy techniques. And the reason why I did the life coaching was kind of just to prove to myself that the techniques that I've got, or what it proved to me, I should say, is the techniques that I've got, the comedy techniques I've got, are more than enough to take your lives to the next level. So, Sanele, yes, I left South Africa in 2022. I started this new big scary thing. Now, for those of you who have ever immigrated, you will know that there is nothing scarier than immigration. There is nothing scarier. It is hard. It is tough. I had huge limiting beliefs around having to start again, around building my network. I've come back to South Africa in the last 2 years, to work and to perform. But a part of me realizes, and a part of me is still very scared and very terrified about it, but a part of me realizes that I need to start cutting the South African cord. So my big goal when I say I'm going global, I've done, I've done work in the UK, I've done work in New York, I've done work in New Zealand. But now when I say going global, I mean majority of my work needs to be coming from the UK, USA, and who knows where else? Europe. Okay? I cannot be relying on rands, okay, to allow me to take my business to where I dream it can go. Why did I leave? Sanele wants to know why I left South Africa. Sanele, thank you for that fantastic question, because just as we were discussing, where was I then and what was the future vision and what was my why? My why was so strong that I knew that I had a calling, a purpose, a reason that for me needed to be global and needed to be beyond South Africa. There's a story of a woman who takes her, I don't know if you guys have heard it, a woman who takes her snake to go and see the vet. And she takes her snake and she says, my snake is sick. And the vet takes one look at the snake and goes, how old is the snake? The snake is just a baby, like 2 weeks or whatever. And she says, no, the snake is 5 years old. And the vet is like, no, with the size of this snake should be about 2 weeks old, not like 2 years, not 5 years, not. And what had actually happened is the vet says to the lady, how big is your tank for the snake? And the lady goes like this. And the vet says, for a snake of this size, for this type of snake, your cage or your incubator, whatever a snake lives in, okay, needs to be this big. So the snake was only able to grow and to expand to the size of its environment. And that's what I felt like being in South Africa. And it's not in every industry. I didn't leave South Africa going, I hate this country. I left South Africa going, I now have a vision, a mission, a calling to take my expertise, to take my ability to go global with my ability and to bring those skills back to my fellow South Africans to help them uh, grow beyond the box. So, have to get rid of the small box? Absolutely. And you know what? I knew that I had to get rid of that small box, and the only way I could do it was by changing my environment. I had to change. I had to change. I knew that if I wanted to grow, I needed to get out of that tiny incubator. I came to London, I came to New York, and I saw how comedians were doing comedy. And that was a huge game changer for me. Because what I realized was there was clowning and there was characters and you could express your voice in you could get up on stage and you could use props and you could use, which is all really kind of looked down upon in South Africa. And the main way that a lot of comedians perform in South Africa is to do straight stand up, so telling jokes into a mic, you know and once I had seen what was possible for me from performing in London, in New York, in Chicago, in LA, I realized that there was a whole world out there that I needed to be exposed to. And in South Africa, I had my blinkers on. And let me tell you, I did really well in South Africa, and I still do really well in South Africa. I love my South African audience. I will come back and perform as much as possible, and keep connected with my South African audience. You know, a lot of people say to me, why? Like, why not just move on? You're in London. London is literally in the center of the planet. It is the center of the world, and a lot of people will say, why come back to Africa? And you know why? The Claudine of 10 years ago wishes she had seen and been exposed to what I have now been exposed to from living overseas. Okay? So I want you, Sanele, to not just say, well done, good on you, I'm jealous you followed your purpose, but to go out there, to make a commitment to your why, to make a commitment to get out of that incubator, to move, to change your environment, your physical environment, in a way that allows for expansion. I'm not saying that you have to immigrate. I'm not saying that you have to leave South Africa. It is the most beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous country. But what I am saying is that you need something in your physical environment needs to shift in order for you to expand. So whether it is learning how to do comedy, learning how to not be so serious, learning how to not overthink everything, learning how to not be a perfectionist, learning how to move out of your own way using comedy techniques, then that's how you have to do it. The why changes year on year. It's sometimes hard to keep up. Absolutely. You are going to change your mind. And as you grow and as you expand and as your dreams grow and expand with you, you are going to change your mind a million times. And thank goodness we don't just quickly manifest whatever we think about, because Lord only knows, your why is going to change. But if you are going with if you are going with the flow, and if you are in your creative genius, and if you are manifesting from your authenticity, then it doesn't matter that your why changes, as long as your why is strong. As long as your why is strong enough, you stick to that why, and it will take you to the greatest, to achieving the greatest, uh, most beautiful, wonderful life you could ever dream of living. When I went all in on myself, when I bet on myself, when I really made the decision to do whatever it takes to become so good that they couldn't ignore me, that is the moment, that is the moment that I feel like my life truly became miraculous. So, yes, and I've immigrated. I've had moments. It's been difficult. It's been hard. It's not all smooth sailing, and I'm not always 100% clear. I'm not always 100% clear, but I do have the tools, the technique, the framework to get back to clarity, and to get back to clarity really quickly. So if I'm feeling out of sorts, or if I'm feeling misaligned, or if I'm feeling off the path, I know exactly how to get back to my authentic genius and make the right decision at the right time to live my life of miracles. Okay? So I want to urge you all, if you would like to delve deeper with me and go further into these concepts, I am going to be holding a masterclass. My masterclass is called From Block to Brilliant. It is the same framework, the same system that I have proven over and over and over again with Fortune 500 companies, with celebrities, with top comedians, to help them access their creative genius, to take their businesses, to take their lives to the next level. And I want to share that framework with you. So, if you have not signed up for my masterclass and you want to go from blocked, from where are you now, to igniting that vision of where you dream of being, where everything is possible, where you can 10x your business, where you can move out of your incubator, where you can truly become the person that you dreamed of being, then I want you to learn this framework as well. Because if this framework can work for, people who are already succeeding to 10x their business, to take their business to the next level, it can work for anyone. It can work for anyone. The way I developed this framework was I went into my first corporate job. And I saw that they had ridiculous time pressures. It was an agency, it was for Ogilvy. And I realized I was training the creatives, and they had ridiculous time pressure. Their briefs that they were getting were boring. And they had never even heard of improv comedy. They didn't even know what improv comedy was. So I needed to create a framework that was simple, fun, and easy, that anyone could do, people who had never even heard of improv comedy before. It was fun, so that no matter how boring the brief was, they could create from the top of their intelligence. It was quick, so that they didn't have to deal with these time pressures. So tomorrow, we are going to be holding this masterclass. If you feel like this masterclass can touch lives of the people around you, your business partners, if there's anybody else who you feel can benefit, please share. Please invite them. The more the merrier. I want tomorrow's masterclass to feel like one big party, because it is going to feel like a party. It is going to be fun. It is going to be liberating when we are able to shine our authenticity out at 10,000 megawatts per whatever. I don't know how it's, you know what I mean. But when we are able to shine out our true authenticity, okay, that is going to feel liberating. That is going to feel like a party. That is going to feel like true transformation. So, if you are looking for this true transformation, you want to dive deeper with me, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Please invite, the more the merrier, whoever would like to come. We really are going to be focused on how to, we really are going to focus on how to recognize your breakdowns and how to break through them. You guys are amazing. I'm going to post the link below. You can go to claudineulman.com to register, but I will see you tomorrow. I'm so excited. Thank you for this beautiful live. Thank you for this beautiful chat. Thank you for getting involved. Thank you for chatting with me. Angel Doves, remember to stay hilarious.